Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company vidIQ has certified the Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached 11 million views, and Queer News Tonight has been the most watched LGBTQ streaming news and lifestyle show in the world in 2025.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the LGBTQ community. There is no other program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It's Tuesday, August 19th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show.
Hotspots Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model as PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ community. We want to inform and educate on the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 11,000 LGBTQ television stories. In 2025, Queer News Tonight is the most watched LGBTQ news and gay lifestyle show in the world, and we have more than 11 million views. We present South Florida's major LGBTQ events, including Pride Fort Lauderdale, Stonewall Pride, and Pride Fest. Our nonprofit 501c3 magazine, events, and television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 community leader anchors will host this show to support the LGBTQ community. Let's meet today's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Patrik Gallineaux, the global LGBTQ+ and multicultural ambassador at Stoli Group. With a passion for advocacy and inclusivity, Patrik is dedicated to fostering connections and promoting positive change within the LGBTQ+ community and beyond. He founded Dancing with the Drag Stars in 2009, raising funds for HIV/AIDS support. He is also a columnist and a charity event producer. Patrik, If the Shoe Fits National Drag Competition is coming to Florida September 22nd. Tell me, what's happening out?
Well, a dazzling new drag competition, If the Shoe Fits, will travel across the United States in September, offering performers the chance to star in Key West's legendary New Year's Eve high heel shoe drop. Presented by Bourbon Street Pub, the Key West Tourism Development Council, and Stoli Vodka, the tour will launch on Wednesday, September 3rd in Dallas, Texas. That's 2 weeks from tomorrow, before heading to West Hollywood, California on September 6th, New York City on September 17th, and back home to Fort Lauderdale for the official regional event at Aquaplex on September 22nd. The grand finale will take place on Saturday, October 4th in Key West outside Bourbon Street Pub on the exact same stage as the New Year's Eve high heel shoe drop. Contestants will compete in 3 categories: first impressions, talent, and a very Key West style CNN couture evening gown interview. Winners will vie for a coveted spot in the 28th annual shoe drop on December 31st, 2025, complete with a performance stipend, flights for 2, and accommodations courtesy of the Key West Tourism Development Council, Bourbon Street Pub, with a little extra support from 5-star men's resort Island House Key West. Audiences can expect Stoli cocktail challenges with samples for the audience, giveaways, and unforgettable performances. And as always, there's no cover charge at any event. More information is available on the Facebook page of If the Shoe Fits Key West. Have y'all been to Key West?
Oh, yeah.
Have you been to the high heel shoe drop?
I've only been to Key West once, unfortunately, but I can't wait to go back.
I went a lot back in the 80s and 90s.
Oh, I heard it was...
That was classic.
I heard it
That's
was...
before the cruise ship started coming.
Oh, must have been really fun and weird back then. Well, you know,
Yeah.
the Key West Tourism Development Council's slogan is close to perfect, far from normal. And that's exactly what this competition is going to be. I've had the privilege of co-hosting the High Heel Shoe Drop with the amazing Bria and Sarah, incredible performer, since 2019. And when Sushi retired, it seemed fairly obvious that there could really be no better finish line than to win that spot to drop down in the shoe. And of course, Christopher Peterson and Randy Roberts, absolute icons, filled the shoe the last 2 years and brought such incredible performance style, live vocals. But now we're going to search the entire country to see if we can find a whole combination of Sushi, Randy Roberts, and Christopher all in one person.
Oh, wow. And the Stoli, vodka is the glue that holds me together. So this is, I mean, if nothing else, that's for that, right?
I mean, come on, amazing drag queens and Stoli vodka and gay bars around the country.
Key West,
and Key West, yes. Yeah, and beyond, beyond that, of course, it's smart for the Key West Tourism Development Council to, bring this across the country. And for me personally, hosting these events, I know I've lived in Florida just long enough when I'm taking a certain pride in proving to people and showing people what an incredible community we have down here in South Florida. Sometimes people don't understand that. They think that the bad things they see are the state, but there's so much good and so much power in Florida. And the Key West drag community is incredible. I can hardly wait to brag about them and get back here with all of you on the 22nd at Aquaplex Fort Lauderdale.
Excellent.
Yeah, and by the way, we have some Key West drag queens coming up to compete.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's going to be a true regional event, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Key West.
All the way up to the Conch Republic. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the If the Shoe Fits National Drag Competition on September 22nd. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome Cindy Brown. Cindy has been an activist for the LGBTQ+ community for 35 years, working for or serving on many local nonprofit boards. She served as the founding executive director of Miami Beach Pride and currently sits on the LGBTQIA advisory board from Miami-Dade County. She also runs her own consulting company, Synergy, for nonprofits helping with finance, strategic planning, board structure, grants, and more. Cindy, Black Fort Lauderdale Festival returns in bold style on August the 30th. Tell me, what's happening out?
Wow, this is exciting, folks. Fort Lauderdale will host one of the nation's most anticipated LGBTQ fetish gatherings when the Black Fort Lauderdale Festival returns on Saturday, August 30th. I'll bet you're surprised that I'm excited about this. Well, organized by the Manor, the two-day event will take place at the Manor Complex, running from 11 p.m. on August 30th until 5 a.m. on Monday, September 1st. Day one, titled Nasty Confessions, will invite attendees to shed inhibitions in a daring atmosphere filled with secret sharing, bold outfits, and uninhibited fun. DJ Nina Flowers will set the tone with hypnotic beats, while the exclusive VIP dungeon will provide a space where boundaries are meant to be pushed and fantasies celebrated. On Sunday, the main event will showcase international talent, including DJ Eric Villar, alongside fetish models, dominance dancers, and electrifying live performances. The festival will highlight artistry, eroticism, and freedom, promising an unforgettable Labor Day weekend for fetish enthusiasts and LGBTQ revelers alike. The Manor Complex is a gay-friendly club, lounge, and martini bar, housed in a bi-level space with chandeliers and a dance floor. More details are available on themanorcomplex.com. Now, that should be a lot of fun. Now, I've never gone to a fetish party in a gay club, so I'm not
Where you been
sure
going? Where you been going to these fetish parties?
Hey, you know.
Performing.
So, I mean, it's great. I mean, I think it's wonderful to be able to celebrate fun, and however you want to have that fun, as long as nobody's being hurt and it's safe for everyone around.
Safe, sane, and consensual. That's the rule.
Absolutely.
And I just love our people. I love our community. I love how creative and fun and free we are. And which is why a lot of people are afraid of us. That people are afraid of joy. If you can control people's joy, you've controlled them. And so that we are so outrageously joyous, that is our superpower.
Right.
And that is our threat to the powers that be. But I love the LGBTQ community. I love the leather and fetish community. Although I'm a little upset about this confession situation. Stay out of my lane. But otherwise, I'm here for it.
Awesome.
Coming for your job.
Right?
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm sold.
Yep.
Well, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Black Fort Lauderdale on August 30th. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Michael D. Monroe. He is a Miami-based publicist and founder of Contrast Media, where he's led high-impact campaigns and editorial features for brands like Disney+, Tidal, Amazon Prime, and Star Wars, and spotlighting artists like Bia, Rua Alejandro, Natasha Bedingfield, and Maluma through his publication Contrast Magazine. A passionate LGBTQ+ advocate, Michael has worked closely with organizations like Out My Closet, Pride Lines, and the former One Pulse Foundation to uplift queer voices and drive community impact. Michael, you're now producing Soundwave, a new inclusive concert series. Tell me what's happening out.
Yes, so during Art Basel this year, Miami will debut Soundwave, an exciting new concert series and music experience produced by moi. Having nearly 15 years of experience in marketing, PR, and media production at Contrast Media, we also publish Contrast Magazine, which has featured names like Luis Fonsi, Don Richard, and more, including Sony animations across the Spider-Verse. Be sure to catch Soundwave on August 28th at Foxhole in South Beach as we spotlight Vikina, Andrexa, and more. Further details can be found at contrastmag.com or the Soundwave Miami on Instagram.
Wow, that sounds interesting.
Yes, I'm excited. I cannot wait. 28th, guys, South Beach.
And you're the producer.
Yes, that's me.
Congratulations. So much fabulousness coming our way.
Thank you. More to come for sure.
What made you think of this idea?
So when I moved to Miami, I was very shy, trying to find my circle here. You know, coming from New York, this is, literally just a whole new circle I had to find. It was very difficult, and then found that circle at Nathan's Beach Club. They have now moved to Foxhole, so Nathan's over Foxhole. And I just kind of noticed that Miami doesn't really have the safe spaces or queer spaces that New York has, or other cities have. There's very few selections that we have here. So I wanted to create something that was, a safe space, a place for artists to showcase their music and just have fun.
Awesome. That sounds great. It's in my neck of the woods.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
A pregame at your place? Huh?
Right? Well, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Soundwave in 2025. That's a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, Bishop Durrell Watkins, the senior minister at Sunshine Cathedral, one of the most important LGBTQ churches in the world. He is an auxiliary bishop of the Global Justice Institute and the current president of the Divine Science Federation. Durrell, Samuel Fray will perform at Sunshine Cathedral on August 30th. Please tell me, what's happening out?
Fort Lauderdale will soon welcome a night of artistry and elegance when Samuel Fray takes the stage at Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts on Saturday, August 30th at 8 p.m. Known as a gifted classical pianist, actor, and model, Fray will headline an evening of music, blending technical mastery with heartfelt performance. Fray, who began formal piano studies at the age of 19, has since built a career spanning teaching, performing, and community service. He holds degrees in piano performance from Rowan University and the University of Miami, studying under celebrated pedagogues Veda Zupotnik, J.P. Floyd, and Tian Ying. Beyond music, Fray has appeared on magazine covers, in fashion campaigns, and in the film Black Bear. Audiences can expect a performance rich in passion and skill, continuing Fray's legacy of combining music with purpose. Sunshine Cathedral is a prominent LGBTQ affirming church based in South Florida, and more details about the event are available at sunshinecathedral.org. This is actually Sam's second time to be here. It was a few years ago, though, so there's been a span. So he'll be new to some people, but then if you know him, he won't be new. He's a very obviously he's very attractive. He's a model, your
Which
eyes.
Is very important.
It's very important. I think he plays an instrument, but also he's very beautiful. But in addition to that, he has all of this charm and all of this talent, and he really is an engaging performer. He's a member of the community. A lot of times people come in for these series, but he's actually a local, and I think you'll become a fan once you hear him.
I just have to say that this is another great performance that the Sunshine Cathedral's Performing Arts Series. I don't know, what you call it?
Yes.
Performing Arts Series? Mm-hmm. Awesome programming. And it's very diverse, and I love it.
And it's not, I guess you could, most people don't. It's not a sacred thing per se. It's just getting people together. That's the sacredness for us, is when people come together, we celebrate our community, we celebrate the sacred value of all people. And you can do that with rap. I mean, you can do that with show tunes, especially with show tunes. But
Judy Gold was great with her comedy.
Exactly.
Too.
And there's no censorship. Like when people say, "Well, I don't know if my show's a little blue," we hired you to do your show. Come do your show. Mm-hmm. So I think that's another special thing about us, is that we see the sacred in the regular, in the normal, in the mundane, and so we want to offer that. You may never want to go to church service, but you'll want to hear Sam Fray on the piano. So do that.
Fabulous.
Yeah,
yes.
Sounds good.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Sunshine Cathedral on August 30th. And that is a very big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Bishop Durrell Watkins, and let's queer up faith. Vatican opens the door to reform as Pope to meet LGBTQ+ equality group in Rome. In a rare move from the Vatican, Pope Leo XIV is set to meet with We Are Church International, a reform group pushing for women priests and LGBTQ inclusion in Catholic life. The Vatican announced that members of the group will meet with Pope Leo XIV and walk through the Holy Gate as part of this year's Holy Year celebrations. This year, this visit comes during the Jubilee of Synodal Teams, scheduled from October the 24th through the 26th. Founded in Rome back in 1996, We Are Church International, or WAC, is now a global coalition. Its work centers on equality for women, for lay members, for married Catholics, and for queer people. Colm Holmes, chair of the group, said, quote, "We are this year celebrating 30 years since our foundation. We are committed to the renewal of the Roman Catholic Church based on the Second Vatican Council and the theological spirit developed therefrom," end quote. The group is expected to not only participate in Vatican events, but also meet face-to-face with Pope Leo. WAC co-founder Christian Weisner told Vatican Radio, quote, "Our patient work over 30 years, during which we have been present in Rome at bishop synods, council commemorations, papal elections, and other events, may have contributed to this. I also see the passage through the holy door as a sign for the church as a whole, to leave mistakes behind and to set out again and again in Christian hope," end quote. This meeting is seen as a hopeful moment for LGBTQ Catholics, especially since Pope Leo has previously insisted that family is, quote, "founded upon the stable union between a man and a woman," end quote. While he has shown skepticism toward reform, he has confirmed that blessings for same-sex couples will remain. For queer Catholics and allies, the October meeting marks an important opportunity, a chance for dialogue at the very heart of the Church. Well, good. Good for them, because here's the thing, I'm of two minds about this sort of thing. Whenever somebody, the Baptists, the Mormons, the Catholics, somebody, the Nazarenes, whenever they do something good, I want to celebrate. Yay, they've seen a little glimmer of light, they're moving in the right direction. But I'm also reluctant to give too much praise anytime you do anything. Like if it's so little, so late, with lots of caveats, and so yes, thank you. And there's so much to do. I am not the sort of person who could wait 30 years.
Right.
I just don't have that personality. I don't have that sort of patience. But I admire those who do. And so I think the people who do that, if that's all that was happening, not enough change would happen. Also, I think of people like me, who sometimes forget to hold back, that accomplishes a lot, but a lot it can't come. It takes it all. And we learned that in the late 90s with HIV treatment. When we had monotherapies, those didn't last very long.
Right.
But when we found combination therapies, we turned this virus around, saved lives, changed the face of AIDS. So that's what I learned from that, is that yes, you may prefer this or you may prefer that, but it takes it all to get it done. So I'm not 100% on board with how they do it, but I'm glad they're doing it, because their part and our part, we'll keep pushing till things get better and better and better.
Well, Bishop Durrell, how do we get you into the Vatican?
Well, I've actually been there several times. In fact, the first time I was almost thrown out. Yeah.
Oh,
How?
Well, can I say? Should I say?
yes.
Well, so I was worried. I wasn't worried. I thought I had walking shorts. I thought they were long enough. They were not long enough. So I was like attacked. It's like, so I had to lower my walking shorts. So basically I was mooning the Vatican, but my knees weren't showing, so it was fine. So they did let me in. But then I went to the gift shop to get some things, and I found a little font of holy water, and I was just blessing my things because they were gifts. Oh my God, like the green berets that descended on me. They told me to go get in a line, a confessional line, and let a priest do it. I said, I didn't know. I thank you. Anyway, I was finished. And so I took my self-blessed business elsewhere. But it was, I got in trouble the first time. The couple of times I've been since, I behaved more properly, I guess. But yeah, the first time I almost got bounced out of the Vatican.
Well, I totally get what you're saying about little too late.
Oh, yeah.
And,
the story.
the story. But I kind of see beyond just that, and I see the condition of the world right now, especially for young LGBT folks. If they grow up in some kind of a religion, I think that these kind of baby steps that these religious organizations take, that for those of us who have been activists for decades and decades, it's like, yeah, thanks for the peanut, I think that in the bigger picture, messages can be sent to young people struggling with their faith. And just the fact that this meeting is happening can help some young people who are struggling with trying to reconcile the church and who they are. Things like this could have a huge impact on where they stand. But I do agree that, a lot more can happen a lot quicker. But
I also hate
everything is slow.
I hate the but. We'll bless this, but we value, but we'll bless this, but a marriage is only this. And I'm just not really willing to take marriage or sexuality advice from lifelong celibates, especially when there is a lot of evidence that they're not even doing that.
Right.
So keeping that vow. So yeah, and if you are by choice living a complete celibate lifestyle while also wearing a bit of drag, that is an alternative lifestyle.
Right.
It's legit. Good on you. Bless you. Hope you're happy. But for someone who has chosen an asexual life, which is odd because ace is an orientation, you can't choose it, but they try to choose it, and that's why they get in a lot of trouble.
Right.
But so that for you to be living outside the norm, judging other people who live outside the norm, it just rubs me the wrong way. And some of the richest spiritual Christian mysticism comes from the Catholic tradition. Mm-hmm. So like I said, I'm of two minds. I'm always conflicted. Thank you for doing something. Meanwhile, it's the 21st century. You might want to do a bit more.
I have to agree. I mean, I grew up in the church, not Catholic, Southern Baptist, and I removed myself from the church just because I felt like there was always like you said, and or but.
Right.
And I feel like if I'm going to, just exist as I am, I don't need a rule book for that. I'm just going to be me. And I remember when I was 16 years old, growing up in the South, I was gay bashed, my jaw was broken, and it always ended up going back to I was hearing things from people around me saying like, well, if you were this way or this way, these things wouldn't happen. It's like, well, I'm loving the fact that, we can excuse violence on people.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and if you weren't an asshole, you wouldn't be punching people. I mean,
Right, there's that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as far as this topic goes, I am hopeful. I feel like, as far as, if we were to compare in, past, decades and decades, how far we've come as a community, obviously there's a long way that we've come, but there's a lot longer way to go. And I feel like these baby steps are just that. They're just baby steps, And
Thanks for not burning me at the stake.
Right. And I feel like they're also just PR things. I feel like sometimes like, well, if we'll do this thing, it'll be on the news and people will say we've made this baby step and say, okay, well, stop making the baby steps, make the effort.
Yeah. I did believe the previous Pope. I really believe that he was trying to be pastoral.
Yes.
And I think he was even pushing himself because he was seeing people as people and he cared about people. I don't know that I've gotten that vibe from his predecessors. I'm still feeling out the current one, but
let's see what happens with this meeting. I mean, the meeting is the step.
For God's sake, prove me wrong. Just really,
Yes,
I will celebrate.
absolutely.
I will tell the world I was so wrong. He's the greatest Pope. But
We'll see.
show me.
Time will tell.
Show me.
Right.
Well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing to and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Patrik Gallineaux, and let's queer up business. Federal crackdown shakes DC's queer nightlife. President Donald Trump's federal takeover of policing in the nation's capital, billed as a crackdown on violent crime, is sending shockwaves through the city's LGBTQ nightlife. Bar owners say sales have collapsed, patrons are staying home, and workers are carrying passports and legal documents just to walk the streets. Mark Rootstein, co-owner of Crush Dance Bar, great place, told The Advocate, quote, "This whole thing is being billed as a violent crime crackdown, but it's just an immigration sweep," unquote. Recently, federal and local agencies staged checkpoints at 14th Street, leading to 45 arrests, out of which 29 were immigration-related. Rootstein said Homeland Security agents were even seen pulling a Latino man into an unmarked vehicle. The visible police presence triggered protests and what he calls customer flight. Sales at Crush dropped 75% on Thursday and were down by more than half on Friday. Dave Peruza, owner of Pitchers and a League of Her Own, described his bar as, quote, a desert. He estimated a loss of $7,000 in one night, saying, quote, that's not sustainable, unquote. At Bunker, a popular underground club, co-owner Q Edwin said federal agents have been stopping cars, demanding IDs, and intimidating patrons. A U.S. Army veteran himself, Edwin now carries his passport when driving in the city. He said, quote, even the ones that have green cards or work permits are scared to come to work, unquote. Trump has defended his actions by citing violent crime data, but city records show crime is at historic lows. Rootstein calls the president's claims, quote, unequivocally false, unquote. For now, DC's queer bar owners say they're training staff, consulting lawyers, and doing whatever they can to keep nightlife safe. But as Rootstein summoned it up, the mood is panicked. Well, having just been in DC recently, leading into World Pride, and where things were feeling fairly calm and safe, it's almost unbelievable to just have been reading this story. I know my friends in DC have been relaying to me that they are upset. Thank goodness there are some really good activists there who are standing up, but to realize that our nightlife, which is already struggling, right? Bars are already struggling, that this administration is damaging our safe spaces is just emotionally devastating to me. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just that the whole thing is a guise for immigration, and the fact that these ICE agents can just drag people and put them in unmarked vehicles. I mean, this is the perfect climate for a serial killer.
Yeah.
Because
well,
put a hood over your head, drive a black SUV, and start yanking people off the street.
Well, the vigilante masks are not far from that.
Yeah,
the vigilante masks are very upsetting me.
That's what That's what's happening now. And who knows who these people are?
I saw a video of that happening, and a lady there confronted one of the ICE agents. And then, of course, they ended up leaving, but that's because they weren't ICE agents. They were people dressed up as ICE agents.
Of course.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, and a lot of these people are probably the same people that refused to wear masks during COVID.
Right.
Look at them now.
Now they'll
Right.
put a mask on.
Right.
Exactly. I don't know about you, but I'm getting my news these days from South Park.
Right. Well, and this looks like something from a bad dystopian movie from like the 70s or whatever. And but this is our life. This is we call it ICE. It's his personal secret police.
Gestapo.
Yeah. So there are legal people being detained, sometimes deported.
Yeah.
All kinds of nonsense to get back. And if you do come back 3 months later, how scarred are you by then?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And the families who are torn apart, it's just so. Okay. But these things are also happening in urban areas where there are a lot of African American leadership and Latin leadership, where there are big K communities. These are not these are targeted. Crime wave might really.
Crime is down.
It's down by 30% already, but he can say that. People, his base will not question it.
His vote will follow anything he says.
Exactly. And so then he can do these ridiculously horrible things that you would think, if I just remember from my 8th grade civics class, that we would never allow, we'd never put up with.
Sure.
And we're just handing the keys over to yahoos.
To the crazy.
To the crazy.
We were warned, weren't we?
Yeah, the patients are running the asylum.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm even not even going all the way back to Orwell. We were warned in the election cycle where they handed us the plan.
Right.
It was 900 pages. We had it.
Yes.
And they were like, well, it's too much. I can't be bothered to read. Oh, yeah, it's only our lives.
Or, they can't.
Right.
Right, it's only our lives. But then,
do this.
But this is too crazy.
That's not legal.
But we had activists who even gave us like Cliff Notes versions so that you could read it. They took 900, put all the points, got it down to like 25 pages.
Right.
Yes.
But they're not going to do it. So meanwhile, here we are. And it's very, very upsetting. So
Well, it's the people who benefit from the way the system is set up that think that this stuff isn't going to happen because it never happens to them.
Right.
That's why they're so comfortable, because they're like, well, this is new to me.
Some of them are going to be
shocked. It might be new to
yeah.
you, but it's not new, and it's definitely not new
for marginalized people. And that we just said, it's already warped this a little bit. We said the word federal takeover of DC like that's a thing you say. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. We said it like
it's just
Black Friday sale at Macy's. I mean, you know what I mean? We just said it like it's a thing to say already. I mean, why we should just be afraid to leave our homes almost, that we're so just like depressed and overwhelmed with how crazy it is. But we've already sort of adjusted a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you, when I think back to my middle school, social studies and history classes, learning about government and democracy, I never thought there'd be a time in my life when I would have so much appreciation for what I was being taught and how fragile our United States of America is. But thank goodness we do have so many great activists fighting right now, like everyone at this table.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing to and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Cindy Brown, and let's queer up the USA view. Hillary Clinton sounds alarm. The SCOTUS will end gay marriage. Hillary Clinton is sounding the alarm, warning that the U.S. Supreme Court could soon overturn marriage equality. The former Secretary of State and Democratic presidential nominee shared her prediction in an interview with Jessica Tarlov on Fox News The Five. Clinton warned, quote, "These are going to be real-world consequences," end quote. She explained that much like the decades-long campaign to dismantle abortion rights, conservatives have been laying the groundwork to undo Obergefell versus Hodges, the 2015 ruling that guaranteed same-sex marriage nationwide. Clinton said, quote, "American voters, and to some extent the American media, don't understand how many years the Republicans have been working in order to get us to this point. It took 50 years to overturn Roe versus Wade. The Supreme Court will hear a case about gay marriage. My prediction is they will do to gay marriage what they did to abortion. They will send it back to the states," end quote. If a Bürgerfell is struck down, existing same-sex marriages will still be recognized federally under the 2022 Respect for Marriage Act. That law requires the federal government and all states to recognize same-sex and interracial marriages performed elsewhere. But it does not require states to issue new marriage licenses. That could mean red states could quickly move to ban LGBTQ+ marriages again, just as they did with abortion after Roe fell. Justice Clarence Thompson has already written that the court should reconsider rulings on marriage equality, contraception, and even sodomy laws, calling those protections demonstrably erroneous. Clinton's advice for couples is blunt. Quote, anybody in a committed relationship out there in the LGBT community, you ought to consider getting married, because I don't think they'll undo existing marriages, but I fear that they will undo the national right, end quote. This is part of the Project 2025, that big old book, and it's just horrifying to think that the years, and I've been an activist for, 35 years, and to think that all of that work could be, gone with a sign of a pen is really frustrating. But, the one thing I always try and remember is that nobody ever gave us anything.
Mm-hmm.
Anything we have, we fought damn hard for. And the Women's March after his first election, I saw a sign that said, they tried to bury us, but they didn't know we were seeds.
Mm-hmm.
So we are seeds. You can try and bury us all you want, but what do seeds do? They grow. So I feel strongly that our community can overcome these obstacles, not in a day. It took us a long time to get it in the first place. But if these things are taken away from us, immediately we will be more vulnerable, motivated to, work to get this stuff back.
Sure. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Although
I have to, I have to believe that.
And
I believe that the young people now are a lot more pissed off.
They need to be.
And active than the two generations before them.
When the Voting Rights Act was gutted, that should have been enough.
Right.
And when women's bodily autonomy was thrown back to the states, that should have been enough. And when corporations were personified, that should have been enough. But what happened before all that, though, of course, is that we got an African-American president. We a few years later got an Asian African-American woman vice president. We got marriage equality in the meantime. And what we're seeing now is the Empire Strikes Back.
Right. Yes.
We are seeing just people not even hiding anymore, not even trying to pretend that this is people trying to reclaim white male privilege, white male straight cis privilege, and not even denying it, not even lying about it. And even so, we don't seem to be quite angry enough, or afraid enough or something. So, but they've been telling us, and then they've been showing us, see, we meant it. Next, they were telling us, see, we meant it. So I'm concerned that they continue to succeed in this really nefarious plan.
I was in San Francisco in 2003 when Gavin Newsom began issuing marriage licenses.
That was early
and the hope that gave me, I was just unfathomable. And the ping-ponging that has gone back and forth, it was, we have it, now we don't. We have it, now we don't. There's a point at which, the way that it impacts you emotionally, is damaging, right? And, listening to the story and the fact that Hillary Clinton is saying that if you're already married, you could stay married. Gosh, it's making me think I need to get out to Wilton Manors and find a boyfriend really fast, right?
But even that is too layered. Okay, I got married 10 years ago. great, I'm safe, but then someone else isn't. I can't sleep at night with
That's
that.
not equity at all.
No.
Not at all.
Yeah, it's
Well, this also goes to show that things do change over time. People change over time. Even if you look at Hillary Clinton's track record, for example, just go back to the 90s, she was not supportive of same-sex marriage. And now here she is standing up for it. So people change, things change. I think if we just keep fighting, keep standing up for ourselves and for the people around us, I think we'll come a long way.
And we need to work harder to get more brilliant members of our LGBTQ plus community into government, don't we?
All right.
That's going to make a big difference ultimately.
Yep.
And what I hope people will know is we may not win all of these, and we may not win them in our lifetime, or we might just take over tomorrow. Who knows? But we're not offering a guarantee.
Right.
I can't guarantee you anything. But I want to make sure that my obituary does not read, "He didn't try."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to do it anyway. We've got to do it. And if we don't try, we won't win for sure. But
you can join us.
Yes.
Anybody can join the fight.
So don't wait till a guarantee, because there aren't any.
Right.
I think a lot of times people don't know how to fight. They assume that means, well, now I have to join an organization and know XYZ terminology, or I have to be something in my resume. Like literally, if you just go and support drag shows, you're doing something. If you go and support a queer-owned business, you're doing something.
Show up at the parade.
If you
Show up in
make
the
a
voting
post
booth.
on Instagram and you change someone's mind about a certain perspective, you've done something.
Exactly.
And vote. Absolutely
And
right. Every person who chose to sit out the election, shame. Shame.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll say, well, the other party, blah, blah, blah.
Shame.
You should give us something to vote for. Well, how about your right to exist? Is that something to vote
Exactly.
for?
Even write in something, like
Yeah.
vote something.
Yes. I'm saying participate. Yeah, write in Mickey Mouse. But he is Floridian. But yeah,
Mouse
participate.
for governor.
Yeah, participate.
Right. All right.
And that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing to and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into the big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Michael D. Monroe, and let's queer up gay culture. Droege skewers queer privilege and messy white gaze. The best theater pushes us to laugh, squirm, and reflect. And that's exactly what audiences can expect this fall when Droege brings his latest play, Messy White Gaze, off-Broadway. The show's title may sound like a tongue-in-cheek jab, but Droege says it's a much-needed mirror held up to the queer community. A press release calls him, quote, a sharp-penned diarist of the contemporary homosexual, end quote, promising an outrageous story where, quote, Brecken and Caden have just murdered their boyfriend and stuffed his body into a Jonathan Adler credenza. Unfortunately, they've also invited friends over for a brunch, and they're out of limes. Feel bad for them, end quote. Behind this dark comedy, however, lies a serious critique. Droege explains, quote, during the pandemic, I was watching a lot of films. And at the time, we were having all of this reckoning with the Black Lives Matter movement. And I wanted to be a part of the conversation as well. But as a creative person, I felt I couldn't write about the brown or black experience. I can't write about the trans experience, but I can write about the white gay men and how we can dispose of each other in the gay community, end quote. He adds, quote, we all think we're good because none of us are MAGA, but it's way more complicated than that. We're not done because we bought a copy of White Fragility on Amazon, end quote. Droege says the satire is the best way to hit those truths. The play features a standout cast, including Zane Phillips, Aaron Jackson, Pete Zayas, and James Kusati Moyer, with Droege himself taking the stage. He calls the cast chemistry off the charts. With Messy White Gaze, Droege promises not just laughter, but a confrontation with the uncomfortable reality that queer audiences, especially white gay men, may need to reckon with. The play will premiere off-Broadway this fall, running at the Duke on 42nd Street, New York, from October 6th and November 2nd will be the opening night. So I'm excited. Too bad this is in New York and not Miami. Otherwise, I would go.
Well, maybe it'll eventually get down to Miami.
Come on down. Bring it to O Cinema.
That sounds absolutely ridiculous. And
I know.
I have flown to New York for plays. I mean, to see like one night and come back the next for off-Broadway even. So I'm not promising I won't be there.
I don't know that I would fly to New York for it, but if it comes to Miami, I might see it. I would expect a bunch of campy fun, but
White
White guys are white guys.
So I might know where you can find some messy white gays if
Yeah,
you
I know exactly
locally.
where to find them.
They've even got a few apps for that. But artists have always been part of the
Pushing the envelope.
yes, have always been part of our army, as it were. And so this makes sense that, once again, creativity, making you laugh, because that also gets your defenses down. If you tell me, you need to step it up and be a better person and care about other people, you don't tell me what to do. But if you get me laughing, and then I say, oh, I am kind of ridiculous, and I do not do enough, it's very subversive and very effective. So I'm glad he's doing it. I also hope that it's really good, because if it's too preachy or too cheesy or whatever, then it misses the mark. But if it's really good, it gets you laughing, gets you thinking. That's what changes stuff.
But, the intrigue about the body stuffed in a suitcase in the Jonathan Adler.
Yes.
I feel like I've heard that somewhere. There was a show or something. I don't know where I've heard that. Like it was like a queer, 80s, 90s.
Oh yeah, that was the movie about Limelight.
Yes, Limelight,
Culkin,
thank you.
where I used to hang out way back when. Yeah, way back.
And there was an episode of Pose, and it was based on
Yes.
a real life experience where someone actually did kill a rough John and
Put him in a suitcase.
put him in the closet. Yeah.
Party Monster with Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the most intriguing part that disturbs me personally is it's brunch and they're out of limes.
So see,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Oh my God.
Especially if they have stolen.
Right.
I know.
right.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
Almost homophobic. Don't mind.
I know.
and I thought it was funny that just because you bought a white fragility on Amazon, I'm like, well, some people would think that you got it on Amazon was problematic,
Yes.
Where did I get my copy?
What? Oh, see?
Mine was Wish Up.
Well, see, already stuff to think about, and that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing to and sharing Queer News Tonight. Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Bishop Durrell Watkins, and let's queer up trans rights. Trans ranger fired after pride flag protest at Yosemite. A transgender park ranger says they were fired for flying a massive trans pride flag from one of America's most iconic natural landmarks. Shannon Jocelyn, a biologist and permanent ranger at Yosemite National Park, shared on Instagram that they lost their job for practicing their First Amendment right. Jocelyn explained that while off duty as a private citizen, they hung a 55 by 35 foot transgender pride flag on El Capitan. They said the flag was up for just 2 hours before being taken down. Jocelyn wrote, quote, El Capitan has had flags hung on it for decades, and no one has ever been punished for it. Only me, end quote. They said they were terminated by a deputy superintendent for failing to demonstrate acceptable conduct. Jocelyn, who has served as a wildland firefighter, rescue technician, and first responder, said they've never received negative comments about their conduct before this incident. Jocelyn's post read, quote, preservation has been my life's work of Yosemite, the wildlife, the land, recreation, of people's rights and safety, of community and acceptance, and now the constitutional First Amendment. I want my rights, and I want my career back, end quote. Environmental activist and drag queen Patrik Gallineaux, who co-organized the flag action, called the firing a direct violation of First Amendment rights and linked it to broader efforts under the Trump administration to erase trans voices from the National Park Service. The Resistance Rangers, who also took part, wrote that the banner was a reminder that queer people belong everywhere. Advocates say that the case raises urgent questions about free speech, visibility, and whether public lands truly remain open for all communities.
Of course not.
There is an ongoing orchestrated attack on transgender and non-binary people, on queer people,
Absolutely,
queer people writ large, but even
Mostly
most
the trans,
particularly on trans people. This is they're right. The flags are hung all the time, and if you don't, take it down. But that this got that sort of reaction, now maybe because they're an employee, that muddies the waters a little bit. But even then, discipline is usually progressive. It's this and then this and then this, not just, you didn't know, too bad, now you're out. But also, this is an affirmation of people. And so it's a bad look, no matter what rule they might have found. It's a bad look to say, oh, you're trying to celebrate a community, out you go. Right. But this is because they have consistently dehumanized and demoralized and demonized trans people. And so where that even a flag representing your people is considered obscene or gross or threatening or no. If you don't want it up there, take it down, say, don't do it again. You don't end a person's career because they were proud of their community.
But they have permission to do so now because Mr. Orange is in the office now, so that's why they feel like they can do this, because they're saying, okay, well, this state did this recently and this doing, so they feel like they're in this environment now where they can just be themselves, which is hateful.
Well, you know, they make it up as they go along, and then they have the Department of Justice, and they'll do whatever the the
because
president
Pam Bondi
tells
is
them to do. Well,
no
Pam Bondi
friend of justice.
No, she is not.
No.
And she's certainly no friend of the queer community.
No.
And this has a similarity to the crosswalks.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly, yeah.
Right?
They're coming and eliminating them.
And the administration is just pushing and jabbing and seeing how far they can go, one piece at a time, right?
But we're the snowflakes, but they're upset about a flag and a
I
cross.
know,
Right.
yeah, it's ridiculous.
Right.
If you're afraid of a rainbow or a flag, you've got bigger problems.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yes.
But you can fight to put 10 commandments in places. You can,
right, yeah.
which oh my God, because it is in your face religious. Oh no, these are universal principles. The first 4 commandments are about the Hebrew God. That is not universal. If you're Buddhist, observe the Jewish Sabbath is not a universal thing for you.
No, of course not.
Only 6 of the 10 even have anything to do with universal rules of conduct. And you're not going to not commit murder because it was on a plaque in a classroom. Either
Right,
you're
exactly.
a decent person or you're not, right? So they can have that. They can promote their religious tradition. But if you have rainbow sidewalk or a trans flag or whatever, that
Or a
is some.
kid that brings a rainbow lunchbox to school.
Or-
oh my gosh, this
Or a
child
teacher
is
that
gay.
says, gives any sort of sympathy to a gay kid being bullied or any of that. What they're telling us, and what they're telling our kids is that you are not okay. That your very existence is somehow obscene, and to even talk about it is offensive to good people.
Yep.
We can't be silent about that. And so I'm not trans. I don't know trans. Blah blah. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Because if they'll
People
do it
are
to that,
people.
exactly. First of all,
Human
that's a
beings are
person.
human beings.
And second of all, and it shouldn't even come to this, but if they'll do it to that person, they'll do it to this person.
That's when they'll care.
Yeah,
That's when it happens.
and that's when it's too late. But it shouldn't even come to that. These are people. They've been mistreated. We need to say something. We've let it go too often. Now we're all scared to say something. Well, not
And
all of us, obviously.
It's literally a human rights issue.
Exactly. Because we talk about states' rights, but humans don't have rights. We talk about corporations are people,
state
but real people aren't protected.
It depends.
That's not okay.
It depends follows everything these days.
Yeah.
Well, it depends.
Right.
Are you Republican? Then, okay, we'll listen to your eye. If you're Democrat, forget it. We're going to do everything we can to oppose you, regardless of the fact that the idea that you just put on the table was one of the best ideas ever. But
It wasn't our idea.
it wasn't our idea,
Right.
so we're not doing it.
And even if your ideas are absolutely just nuts, still, you deserve to exist. You deserve to have a relationship. You deserve to have health care. You deserve to. And
These are
trans
basic
people have the just nightmare stories about health care.
Right.
They're just humiliating and dangerous and scary. Well, yeah. If you want to stand up for someone to be able to wave their flag, you're probably not going to intervene when they're trying to get emergency care.
Yeah.
So this is about people.
And
until we
hopefully-
see people as people, we're in trouble.
Right. And hopefully these things, people are paying attention,
I
because
hope.
this is the kind of thing that needs to light the fire under folks so that they have the epiphany that, you know what, I can't just sit on my ass anymore.
There has to be, even if he or she is transphobic, there has to be a lawyer somewhere that says, well, I don't understand or even like trans people, but this is wrong.
Right.
And I'm going to defend the law and the Constitution and rights. I'll deal with my transphobia later. Surely there's such a person.
Right.
Well,
Well,
if they're
hopefully.
transphobic, then no.
Well, you know,
Unfortunately.
it'll be a battle against the federal government. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So,
The
yeah.
day when trans people are celebrated as they deserve to be will be a magical day. I mean, my trans friends and what they have to go through, which is such a heavier burden
Oh, yeah.
than me, already feeling oppressed. I just think trans people are magical.
There's
a lot our society could learn from them. And yeah.
You won't find a braver community
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
or a more resilient.
Yes. Totally.
And that is another big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing to and sharing Queer News Tonight. Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. These anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ community.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Bishop Durrell Watkins, and I wish you a fabulous evening on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Patrik Gallineaux, Cindy Brown, and Michael D. Monroe. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ world, we hope you will join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery, be transformative, and queer. Good night.
Good night.